Hello, welcome to the next video in this little set of videos for the functional fitness, gentle exercise and chair-based sessions. So this one is a little bit longer, it's a 30-minute video. So we're going to do our warm-up, we're going to do some exercises in the middle and we're going to do our cool down at the end. So we're going to do everything we've learned in the last 3 videos and combine it together. So we want to make sure we've got our chair, we've got our weights, just pop those at the side, and we're sitting forward on our chair. We're going to start seated for our warm-up. So remember, we sat in that front section of the chair, back away from the chair, abdominal muscles are in, we're sat nice and straight. We want a nice hip, knee and ankle alignment through the legs, and we're just going to start with that warm-up. So sitting nice and tall, we're just going to start with that little shoulder roll. So forward, back and down, forward, back and down. And we're just going to start to loosen it off. We will get a little countdown in a minute from my timer. So remember, we are working to that 1.5 minutes and 30-second rest. But we're just going to go straight through with some of the exercises for the warm-up. We're just going to keep everything moving. So we're going to do a little exercise for our 30 seconds and I'm going to have a little 30 seconds of marching, just so we can make sure we're warming everything up, we're getting the heart rate up a little bit as well. So we're rolling those shoulders. Remember, we're thinking about making the circle nice and big, bringing them up, back and down, up, back and down. So nice, smooth movements as much as we can through those shoulders. Again, sitting nice and tall, squeezing the abdominal muscles just a little bit, doesn't have to be too much, but sitting nice and straight. And do remember, if you need to sit back and use the back of the chair, you still want to be sat tall, so you're going to scoot right back into the chair. We don't want to be slumping in the chair. So just keeping that moving. You can make it a little bit bigger if we feel we can. Just really loosen off those shoulders. Again, remember, on the neck to be nice and loose. We don't want any stress in the neck. So we're going to be loosening that shoulder joint up. Nice and strong. Nice and smooth. Feeling mine loosening up already. I like this move, really do feel it gets any tension out with those shoulders and loosens them up and bring it down. We're just going to go off that little march. Just do 30 seconds of marching, just in between each of our exercises, just to start to warm the legs up, start to lift the heart rate just a little bit. And you can keep the marching going if it feels alright for you. Or you can have a little bit of a breather while we do the other exercises. That is entirely up to you. Okay, so if you want to, keep that going. If not, bring it to a stop, hands to the side. Turn those thumbs out, palms facing forward. We're going to do that little circle. So again, remember what we said in the video. We just loosen off the shoulder. The arms are acting as weights. And it's like we're stirring a pot. So again, if you want to keep the feet going, you can keep a little march, you can keep a little toe tap through those legs. They're going to warm up in a minute anyway, so we do the leg exercises and keep them going. So we just keep it nice and steady. We're just working through exercises that we've already done in the other videos. So again, if you want to make it a little bit bigger, to loosen up those shoulders, do feel free. Keep the abdominal muscles pulled in. Just loosen off those shoulders. Nice and smooth. Again, keep it nice and small if you would rather. Or make it bigger if you want to. Just make sure there's nothing in your way. Don't want to be smacking anything or anybody, realistically. So little circle, just nice and loose through those shoulders. Again, you can have a little toe tap if you want to. You can keep those legs moving as much as you want to. We've just got 10 seconds left here. Just loosen up those shoulders, arms nice and heavy. And we're going to go back to that little march. So marching it out. So nice and light through the feet. And we've got that movement now through the shoulder. Remember, we're just going forward and back. We're not crossing over. We keep it nice and straight. So bending at the elbow, pushing the elbow back so we get that movement through the shoulder. So remember, sit tall. Remember, if you need to move forward on the chair for the heel digs or the toe taps, you can. So we're going to go into that heel dig. So heel dig, and if you want to add in the bicep curl, feel free. If you don't want to, then just focus on the legs. So we're taking that heel out, toes up to the ceiling. Got that bicep curl going on if we want. And remember, as we know now, the bicep curl is an exercise we're using the strength section. So it's a nice way to just get those arms working in that way, getting them used to it. And then just starting to warm up, starting to use them in that way. Getting the muscles used to it. We know where the bicep is now, it's this muscle on the front of the arm. We're just giving it that little squeeze. So think about the muscle you're using. So we think about the bicep as we curl. Think about pushing out through the heel, squeezing that muscle in the front of the shin as we do that heel dig. Nice and smooth, nice and steady. Just warming things up. Remember, we like to do a nice long warm up, about 10 to 15 minutes. When we're doing these exercise programs. Again, they are for anyone, any age, any ability. Really good, especially if you've got health conditions or if you are at risk of a health condition. Always good to get a little bit of extra physical activity in. So that's our last one, and then we're just going to march it out. So again, we've just got those legs moving, so we want to keep them moving. So that's why we're just going to do this little march in between, those little 30 seconds. But if you do need to have a little breather, remember you can just rest it against the back of the chair. Just try and keep the feet moving, maybe with a toe tap, a little tiny toe tap, or a little heel raise. Anything that just keeps them moving a little bit. We're going to go to that toe tap next. So we're going to tap our toe and down. Tap our toe and down. And again, you can focus just on the legs, or you can bring the arms in. And remember, as we said before, that tap may be right underneath the knee, or you may need to just tap it out a little bit further in front. Do what works for you. Have a little think about lifting up through the heel, squeezing that calf muscle, so back of that leg. Give it a squeeze and really stretching down the front of the ankle. So showing those shoelaces to everybody. I always think ballerina feet as well. Always wanted to be a ballerina. So we're just squeezing in that bicep, working those legs. Again, tap out a little bit further if we need to. Do what works for your knees. And keep the arms going if we'd like to. But again, we don't have to. That's it, nice and steady. Just tapping it out. You should just feel now that the muscles are just starting to ease off. You can do a little squeeze and release through the hands as well if you want it, starting to warm those up a little bit. So squeeze at the top, release out the bottom, squeeze and release. One more. And then that little march. So we're nice and tight through the abdominal muscles. And we're nice and tight through the back. We're sitting nice and tall. Get that nice swing through the shoulders. So again, we're keeping it moving through this warm-up phase. But if you do need to have that little lean back, you can. We're going to go to our knee lifts. So nice and tight. Bring it down. Use the lower abs to lift the knee, opposite hand across. Lift and across. Lift and across. So remember, we're using the hip, we're using the knee, we're using the core muscles. We've got that little crossover. So we get a little twist through the centre, and how much of a twist is up to you. You can twist around a little bit further if you would like, or you can just keep it forward and just use the hand. We want to make sure we're not leaning back as we lift that knee, so we're staying nice and straight. Again, if we need to sit onto the back of the chair, shuffle that bum right back into that chair. So we should just feel the thigh muscle starts to warm up now. Legs are starting to warm up. Usually at this point in the warm up, the heart rate is starting to lift ever so slightly. And you feel a little bit, if you're starting to breathe a little bit, maybe a little bit heavier. That's absolutely fine, absolutely normal. But do remember to work at your own pace. Take those 30-second little breathers if you need to. It's absolutely fine. We've got a couple more. One more on each side. Okay, we're going to march it out. Again, 30-second breather. If you need it, do take it. But if we can, let's keep marching. So it doesn't have to be a big march. We're just lifting and lowering those legs, just getting the blood pumping through. We've got that swing through the elbow, through the shoulder, sorry. The elbow is pushing back. Sometimes I forget which bits, and my mouth works quicker than my mind. So we're really going to work. This is our last little bit of the warm up. So really get a swing through, get those legs working. Yeah, we really want to start warming everything up now. It's our last little bit. So nice and strong. Then we're going to go into our exercises. So we've got a combination of the strength exercises and a combination of the balance exercises that we did before. Plus some little bits of cardio exercise that we're going to do as well. And mix them up into an order. You get a minute and a half on, and then you get that little 30-second break. So again, that 30-second break is up to you, whether you relax completely and have the breather, or whether you keep a little bit of movement going. I'll show you both ways. Some exercises are going to be done sat down, some are going to be done stood up, and I'll count you in for each one, and I'll count you back out for each one. So keep that march going. Should really feel now that we're starting to warm up. Should feel nice and strong. We've warmed the legs up, we've warmed the arms up. We're feeling good. That's it, keep it going. Just a couple more. So you have 30 seconds here. If you want to relax against the back of your chair, have a little breath, you can. If you want to just keep a little foot pedal going through, just a little tapping of the toes or a little forward and back, feel free. If you want to keep a little march going, keep a march going. Whatever you want to do, we're just going to grab hold of our weights. So we can go straight to that bicep curl to start. So abdominal muscles in, nice and straight. Pop your elbows in. Go. So we're going to come up and down. Up and down. Squeeze and lower. So remember, we're thinking about that muscle right at the front of the arm, the bicep. We could do one arm at once. That felt better for you. That's entirely up to you to do one arm at once. If you want to do both together, you can do both together. If you want to do a couple on their own and then a couple together, that's up to you. We're keeping the stomach muscles pulled in, we're keeping the back nice and straight. If you want to keep the legs moving, you can. If you want to just concentrate on the arms, that's fine as well. That's it, nice and steady. So again, we can do single arms, we can do double arms. You want to make sure, as I've said before, that the shoulder to the elbow stays nice and still. So it's the bottom section of the arm that's doing the moving. We're not swinging the arms, we're controlling that curl. You may want to go a little bit slower. Don't really want to go any faster because you want to keep it under control. Yeah? You really want to work through it. We've just got one more. There we go. So we're going to pop those down for a moment. So you can have your little relax, you can have your little sit back, got your 30 seconds. We're going to go to another strength move. We're going to go to a sit to stand. So I like to get this one out of the way quite early on. It's quite a big exercise on the legs. So remember, we're coming forward onto that front third of the chair. We're moving the heels back a little bit. We're going to bring our nose over our knees and push up. So off we go, pushing up nice and strong, hinging at the hips, bringing it down under control. Use your hands if you do need to. Make sure we come all the way up. Again, make sure as we come forward, we can see our toes. We don't want our knees forward of our toes. If you need to, you can reach for the chair as we sit back down. So if you need to reach your hands back, feel for the chair, do feel free. Do make sure we always know where the chair is. We always want it to know that we're going to sit down nice and safely. We want to keep the legs nice and strong, power up through the legs. So push down into the heels, power through the legs, bring it back down. Push down through the heels, bring it up, bring it back down. So again, set a pace that works for you. You may be slower. Again, don't try and go too much faster. We just want to make sure your technique is right. We don't want to be using momentum, so the feet don't want to come off the floor. The feet want to stay nice and firmly on the floor. We want to be really using the legs to push up into the standing position and to help us lower down. We've just got a couple more seconds left. Now the last one. Now we're going to stay up in a standing position. We're going to do a little bit of balance work. So again, we're either going to move to the side of our chair, both hands on our chair, or a hand on a wall. And we're going to do that single leg balance. So we want a little bend into your knees. Again, we want hips, knees and ankles nicely in line, abdominal muscles in, standing nice and straight. We do 10 seconds on each leg. So weight down into one side and lift. So remember, we're only lifting a tiny bit off the floor. We're using the chair or the wall for balance as much as we need to. Swap sides, weight down, lift. So don't be lifting this leg too high, remember, it's just a tiny little lift. Keeping this knee a little bit bent. We're staying nice and straight. So don't be tempted to slouch forward. Lift yourself up nice and tall. Other side, weight down and swap. So that's it. So it's just a nice balance onto that leg, using that chair as much as we need to. Swap it over, weight down and lift. And get that transfer of weight nice and smooth. Yeah, nice and smooth as we can. Transfer and lift. That's what we're thinking. We're thinking of a nice even transfer through those legs and transfer and lift. And keeping it nice and stable, holding in through the abdominal muscles, making the core work, transfer and lift. So we're really going to work through this central section of the body. Really important for balance is our core. Really helps everything hold nice and firm. Last couple, so we've got 10 seconds on this side. And then we've got 10 seconds just on the other side. Lying to you. Bring it down, give them a little walk through. So we're going to go back to another strength exercise. We're going to go to our calf raises this time. So if you want to turn it, so you're pointing towards your chair, or again, if you want to go against your wall, hips, knees, ankles nicely in line. Standing tall, abs in, string up through the top of the head. We're going to lift up and slowly down. Up and slowly down. So remember, as we've said before, we're controlling the lift and controlling the lower. We're using the calf muscles to just bring ourselves up nice and slowly. We're keeping nice and tall. Again, imagine, as I just said, a string through the top of your head and somebody's just lifting you up. and down. Lifting up. So we don't want to be leaning forward, we don't want to be leaning back. Like I say, if you need to use a wall, you need to put both hands onto a wall, that's absolutely fine, do that. Don't lean forward or back, lift up straight. Don't even have to come up too high, literally just lift and lower. Do what works for you, yeah? Depends how flexible your feet are, how high or how low you can go. Keep it going. One more. Nice and strong. Looking good. Excellent. 10 more seconds. Last one. And bring it down. Give them a little walk through. So we're going to go to another balance exercise. We're going to use our chair again. So again, if you want to stand this way on, if you want to use a wall, we're going to do that side step and together. Yeah, so starting with our feet together, going to lift up and over a hurdle and then bring the feet back in together. Up and over that hurdle and bring your feet back in together. So when you're ready, off we go. So use your chair as much as you need to. Lift up and over, up and over. So make sure we transfer our weight onto that foot, transfer our weight onto this foot. We're just transferring it backwards and forwards, nice and steady. We lift over those, so we're not dragging our foot on the floor. We've got to think we've got a moving part then, so we've got to hold our balance here while we move the other leg. And again, this may be, you start at 1, you build it up, and you're doing 2, 3, 4, maybe 6 steps. Yeah, sideways and together. But we're keeping it steady, we're keeping tall, we're making sure we're under control. Yeah? That's it, nice and strong, nice and smooth. Nice and steady. Lovely. Keep going. Excellent. Just got a couple more. Okay. We're going to bring it back round and sit back onto our chair. So we're going to do another one with our weights. So we're going to sit ourselves down. So again, sitting forward that little bit. Grab hold of our weights and do that front raise. So our hands are just going to come out towards our knees. Remember, we've got that little bend into the elbow. We're only lifting to shoulder height. So abdominal muscles in, back nice and straight. We're going to lift it up, off we go, and up. So remember, you could do one arm at once, or we could do both arms together. Whatever works for you. I can do a combination. One arm, and then the other arm. It's nice and steady. We're keeping the abdominal muscles in, so a little pull into the stomach muscles, nice straight back, but only lifting to shoulder height, no higher. Otherwise we risk, as I've said before, impingement on these shoulder joints, and we don't want that. Too many nerves and things running through the shoulder joints to risk any impingement injuries. It's just that little lift. That's it. For one arm or both arms, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Just do what works for you. Everything else is staying nice and still, so we're just really working through the shoulder muscles. The back's nice and straight. The neck's nice and long. We should always make sure the neck is nice and relaxed, but a nice long neck as well. A distance between the ears and the shoulders, so it's nice and relaxed. We've just got a couple more. Just a couple more seconds. Here we go. I'm going to pop those weights down. We're just going to start our cool down. So just for the cool down, we're just going to do a couple of the exercises that we did before. So we're just going to start with our little heel dig. So just nice and gentle, not too quickly, digging that heel forward, pointing that toe up for the ceiling. Now we're just going to do a little bit of mobilisation through some of the joints while we're here, just to loosen everything up. So just going to do a couple more of these. Just sticking it out nice and straight. We're just taking the arms out of this one because we're just starting to cool it down, starting to bring it back down again. And then we're just going to bring one leg forward. We're going to do heel and toe. Heel and toe. Now I want you to think, if there was a 50-pence piece on the floor, you're just tapping it with your heel, tapping it with your toe. Tapping it with your heel, tapping it with your toe. It's only a 50-pence piece, so it's quite small. We're not putting any fivers or tenors down there. That's it. Last one on that side, bring it in, other side. So heel and toe. 50-pence piece on the floor. Just getting a little bit of movement through the ankle, just loosening it off. That's it. Lovely. That's excellent. Okay, bring that in. Let's just have a little foot pedal through. So your toes stay down, it's got a little lift and lower through those heels. Just keeping the legs moving a little bit. And as we do that, let's just have that shoulder roll back again. So just a little shoulder roll. Loosen it all back off. That's it. Nice and big. And then that little arm circle, so thumbs out. Little arm circle round. Keep it nice and loose. We're just going to bring those legs down to a stop. So we're going to do those stretches we did before. We're going to bring one arm out in front, take it over, and just help it across just a touch, just to stretch into the back of that shoulder. So this is where we get a little bit of flexibility in as well. So although we've not really done any flexibility exercises, we are getting our stretches in. So let's do the other side, bring it out, take it across, little helping hand over. That's it. Then while we're over here, it's a little turn to that side. So just sitting tall, bring that little turn through the centre of body, back to the centre, over to the other side. And bring it back into the middle. Edge yourself forward a fraction. Bring that heel out. Hands onto your bent leg. Now imagine that string attached to that toe. Pull it in. And then lean it forward a little bit, keeping the chest lifted, keeping the chin level, stretching up that leg. And then again, think and pull that toe towards you a little bit more. And the other side, so bring it in. Take it out, heel down. Weight on your bent leg, pull that toe. Nice and tall, little lean forward, chest lifted, chin level. Again, squeeze in that toe. Imagine that string attached to that hip. That's it. I'm just going to bring it up. Give the shoulders a little roll round, just to loosen them off a little bit. Give the hands a little rotate round, and the other way, just to loosen those off. Wrists always seem to get quite stiff. Yeah. Give the legs a little shake out. Give those ankles a little twirl if you want. Yeah, just whatever works for you. Oh, how are we feeling? Just have a little sit back and a little relax just for a minute. Hopefully your breathing's all back to normal, you've calmed yourself down, you're all back to normal. That's it for this little video. We will be back with another video, another 30 minutes. So for now, take care and goodbye.